Hello, Pewter people. Scott Reynolds here with another Pewter Pulse. The first 2 weeks of Bucs training camp are in the books, and I've got a hard truth to tell about defensive tackle Desmond Watson. The 400-plus pound former Florida Gator is yet to practice with the team and remains on the NFI list. That's the non-football illness list. What's really holding Watson back from practicing with the Bucs, and is he any closer to ever putting the pads on? I'll tell you that truth in just a moment. But first, your reminder, hit the thumbs up button on this video, give it a like, also leave a comment. I love reading your comments, and doing those two things helps us with the YouTube algorithm and gets our videos out in front of more awesome Bucs fans like you. Thank you very much for helping us get over 20,000 subscribers on our YouTube channel, Pewter Report TV. If you haven't done so yet, head over to Pewter Report TV and hit subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. All right, Desmond Watson didn't meet his weight goals and has been unable to practice in training camp. Will that ever change? That's the subject of today's Pewter Pulse. Now, let's start off with some facts about Desmond Watson before I get into my opinions about what I think is going to happen moving forward. Watson weighed 464 pounds at his Florida Pro Day and is listed on the Bucs roster at 449 pounds, which means he lost about 15 pounds from April to May. That was Watson's weight, 449 pounds, when he signed with the Bucs after the draft. Has he lost some weight during the offseason conditioning program? Looks like he has. I can't tell how much. Is he 430? Is he 420? I just don't know. But what I do know is that Watson was given a target to hit, a weight goal that he needed to reach during the 6 weeks off in the summer before he would be eligible to practice with the team in training camp. And Watson failed to hit that number. I previously stated that the Bucs want to see him trim down to at least 400 pounds, if not 380, before they would even consider him to be effective enough to play in a game. And that would be as a practice squad elevation only. At no point in time did I truly think that Watson would make the 53-man roster. The Bucs have far better defensive tackles on the roster right now than the former Gator. And right now, even making the 16-player practice squad seems highly unlikely, as he's missed the first 2 weeks of training camp. I mean, the coaches and scouts haven't even seen what he can do on the field. We've seen Watson do some running for about 30 minutes off on the side field in an effort to improve his conditioning, his cardio, and shed some needed weight. Now, this is a picture of Watson back in the OTAs and the minicamp days. In the spring. We're not allowed to photograph Watson when he's running with the trainer on the field. That's just something that the Bucs PR staff doesn't let us do. So he looks a little slimmer now than he does in this picture. Some of you have suggested that the team should let him practice because he would shed even more weight with the helmet and full pads on. That might be the case in theory, but at his current weight, wherever it is above 400 pounds, it could also be quite dangerous. We have to remember that clinically, Watson is probably categorized as more morbidly obese. That puts him at a greater risk of serious health issues such as heat stroke. It's one thing to run around in shorts and a helmet in the spring during May and early June in Tampa when the heat index is in the 80s. But in late July and early August, in the thick of the hot and humid summer season in Tampa, when the heat index is 100 degrees or more, that's dangerous for a guy like Watson. Some of you older Bucs fans may remember that former Minnesota Vikings offensive tackle Cory Stringer died on the second day of training camp on August 1st, 2001, due to exertional heat stroke. Stringer was 6'4", 346 pounds, which was considered gargantuan about 25 years ago. A guy that big was considered a bit of a rarity back then. Now, 340-pound guys are more prevalent on NFL rosters. Tampa Bay has 4 players around 340 or more in defensive tackle Vita Vea and offensive tackles Tristan Wirfs and Tyler McClellan, in addition to Watson, who was well over 400 pounds. Back in 2001, the Bucs only had 9 players that weighed 300 pounds or more, including just 2 over 315 pounds. Now Tampa Bay has 21 players that weigh 300 pounds or more in camp, including 7 over 315 pounds. Back in 2001, the NFL had two-a-day practices. Now those are a thing of the past due to player safety concerns. Players that aren't in shape in training camp and don't move as well are more susceptible to injury. And if Watson was on the field and were to happen to get injured or suffer heat stroke as a result of being obese, then the team has to reach an injury settlement and essentially pay someone like Watson for not being able to play. And injury settlements can be in the six figures too. The other thing to consider is that Watson is incredibly limited as a defensive tackle in Todd Bowles' defense because of his immobility. He's truly a one-dimensional A-gap plugger in the run game. If there's an outside running play, the Bucs are essentially playing with 10 guys on defense because Watson can't run to the ball in pursuit. Despite his size, Watson is not a pass rusher. He only had 1.5 sacks in 4 seasons at Florida. Listen, everyone is rooting for Desmond Watson, including myself, not just in football, but in life. He's admitted that he has an addiction to food, and the Bucs are certainly trying to help him. But the reality is that Watson left high school at 380 pounds and actually gained over 80 pounds at Florida. Instead of losing weight in college, he gained weight, unhealthy weight. He was too big to be a difference maker for the Gators. That's why he was never a starter and was only a role player as a result. Watson's actually a very good athlete for such a huge man. That's why the Bucs took a gamble on him. Just imagine how much more effective he could be playing around 380 instead of being well over 400 pounds. Now, I don't know what the target weight for Watson is or how close he is to hitting that. Maybe he starts practicing in a week or two. But if I had to guess, based on him missing the first 2 weeks of training camp and how brutally hot it's been, I don't think the team risks putting Watson's health in harm's way with him being so obese. I think this is going to end one of two ways for Desmond Watson. Either the Bucs try to help him in the long run and keep him on the non-football illness list until he loses a sufficient amount of weight and keep him on that list throughout camp as he works on his conditioning, and then they release him in the roster cut downs and place him on the PUP list where he would be ineligible to be up on the active roster for 4 games in the regular season. Not that that would ever happen, but that would give him the month of September, in addition to the month of August, to lose more weight and get in better shape. Then if he gets released and placed on the practice squad, once he reaches a certain weight, then his rookie season could essentially be like a redshirt year as he tries to get under 400 pounds and gets in better shape for the 2026 season. Or the Bucs just don't see the light at the end of the tunnel with Watson because he fails to be committed to losing weight and fails to be committed to his diet and doesn't make enough progress. Kind of like what happened over the summer break where he didn't lose enough weight. Then maybe they give up on the Plant City native. At the end of the day, the only person that can save Watson from his obesity is himself. He has to decide how bad he wants this, how bad he wants a shot at a pro career in football, even if it is on the practice squad. Halfway through training camp, folks, time is running out on Watson and his NFL dream. Well, you helped us make our dreams come true by helping us get over 20,000 subscribers on our Pewter Report TV YouTube channel. Please join legions of Bucs fans in doing so. That's where you'll find my Pewter Pulse videos, other great Bucs video content like the Pewter Report podcast. So hit the subscribe button. Also hit the notification button. When you hit that button, it's going to give you a notification when I deliver a new Pewter Pulse to you or when we go live with our Pewter Report podcasts. Make sure you follow us on X, Facebook, and Instagram on Pewter Report for our Bucs training camp, preseason, and regular season coverage. And visit pewterreport.com for all of the breaking news, injury reports, roster additions, and cuts, and, of course, game coverage as we get closer to the Bucs preseason. And I'll be back soon with a new Pewter Pulse.